Hello, I'm going to show how to draw this part in using Inventor. So as you can see, it's a cube. It's got a shape of a cube with a square hole inside. The cube is 25 by 25 millimeters wide. It's got a depth along this direction of also 25 millimeters, but the edges here on these two sides, this side and the side of the back, they've got a fillet on it, a fillet of radius 2. The size of the hole is 10 millimeters inside square as well, and centered with the outside square. So the way I'm going to do this is by drawing just half, or creating just half of this this cube. So just this side here, just this half, and then mirror it to the back. So this is how it's going to look like in the end. There you go. So to understand, I'm going to use the patch tool to generate a surface here that is slicing cut through the middle of this cube, and also the surface here at the front, and then a ruled surface tool to generate the sides and the inside. Finally, a loft tool to do the fillets. So I start a new part. Make sure you use a millimeter template. If you don't, just go to Tools, Document Settings, and make sure you change your units to millimeters. So mine are already in millimeters. Also, make sure you see you are looking at the model here. So I've got my model side pane as I've lost it. There you go. And I start by sketching. So I'm going to sketch on a plane, this plane here, and create the first rectangle. I'm going to use a centered rectangle to have everything nicely centered. The rectangle is 25 millimeters wide. There you go. This dimension should be close to 25 as well. But I said it's 25. And since it's got the hole inside, I'm going to draw the hole immediately as well. As a rectangle, again, a centered rectangle with a size of 10 millimeters. So there you go. So I finished the sketch, and with the boundary patch tool, I create a surface from that sketch. Done. Now I want to, so essentially what I've done so far is a surface which is lying exactly at the middle, as if you would slice along this direction of the cube. Now I'm going to generate this front square. So it will be also a square with a hole inside. The hole is still 10 millimeters each side, but the square itself, it's this square here, it will be 25 minus 2 every single side. So it will be 21 each side. Also the square, since it will be drawn in a plane which is offset from the plane that I've got here at the middle, so it will need to be offset by half the cube's length, which is 12.5 millimeters. So let's do this. So I start by creating, based on this, a plane which will be offset from that surface and offset by 12.5 millimeters in the opposite direction, actually. There. And now I draw on this plane. I start a sketch on this plane. The sketch is again a rectangle, a centered rectangle with a size of the outside will be 21 by 21, and finally a hole in the center which is 10 millimeters by 10 millimeters. There, so actually it's a perfect square there. Now, just to make, well, not to have too much on the drawing, I'm going to switch off the visibility of the work plane. And now from this sketch, the second sketch I've drawn, I'll create again a surface, so that will be the front surface with the boundary patch tool. Now for the sides, say these outside sides, I will use a ruled surface. So I'll create from the surface I've got already, perpendicular to it, so along this direction, the surface is here right now, the back surface, and perpendicular to it, I will create surfaces using the ruled surface tool. Now the size I'm going to generate is half of 21. You've got 21 there to help you visualize that, but it's half of 21. So I click the ruled surface and I select the outside edges there, and now I extend that by 10.5. It's extending on the so to the back instead to the front, so I can flip that direction, and it's done. So apply, and I've created those surfaces. So at the moment I've got what seems like a box with an incomplete with a hole and an incomplete lid. Now I'm going to generate the inside. The inside of the hole is again a ruled surface. Distance now is going to be exactly half, because it needs to reach the front, so it's going to be half the cube's length. So it can't be 10.5, it needs to go slightly farther. There you go. So 12.5, and I've created that surface. Finally, last surface, I will create it with a loft. These are the fillets here. So use the loft tool. The loft tool asks me for one set of contours, so I need to select each one individually. There on one side, the starting and now the ending ones. There you go. And now the ending ones, another set of edges. This one, and this one, and that one, and that one. Now, if I create it right now, what happens is, if I just click OK, you will appreciate that it's not really a fillet, it's a chamfer. It's cut straight. So we can change that. The loft surface allows us to make round surfaces under the conditions. So if we just ask it to be round as it meets the two surfaces. There. So it's the tangent condition. Still, when I do this, I will see that on one of the sides, the tangent is in the opposite direction. See, it's tangent, but it goes down instead of going up. So I can still change. So I can change that again. So it'll be the second edge. I can flip this, and it flips. So I've got the flip, the takeoff direction. That's it. Now I've got all the surface generated. If I stitch them with a stitch tool, if I stitch them all together, it will generate automatically the solid. And I've got half of my cube. Now it's just a simple thing to use the mirror tool to mirror the my whole feature, what I've got here. The mirror plane, I can choose the back. I click OK, and I've got the full cube done. That's it.